Here's David Pauly. Let's hear from David Pauly. Yes.
You're stopping? Hey, that seemed like a great audience. It must be the holidays. You know, I love this time of year, especially Thanksgiving. I had a great Thanksgiving this year because we had this big family reunion, and I didn't go. Yeah, Thanksgiving with my family is not a holiday. More like a day of atonement. I come from a dysfunctional home. My parents are still married. Yeah, no, and they're happy. They're supportive. They're loving. They're really the perfect parents. They've ruined my life. You know, because when your parents are jerks, it's their fault your life sucks. Of course, mine do everything right, so great, I'm to blame. I come from a small Catholic family, 8 kids. Another rhythm success story. Yeah, I'm the youngest kid, which is why I'm up here. Yeah. I figure, you know, stand-up comedy, it's the best revenge. And it's cheaper than therapy. I'm not really sure why my parents had so many kids, but I think it has something to do with the fact that my dad was just too cheap to buy a remote. One of the reasons I didn't go home for the holiday this year was because my sister was going to be there. She's getting spooky in her old age. Kind of makes Dr. Kevorkian look like Tipper Gore. Yeah, I pissed her off the last time I saw her because I played poker with her tarot cards. Yeah. I got a full house. 4 of her friends dropped dead. So instead of going home this year, I went to a friend's wedding. I really think that women who agree to be bridesmaids are just inviting abuse. You know, because the 4 bridesmaids in this wedding were not small women to begin with. So the bride naturally puts them in these big, what are they called, Laura Ashley floral print dresses. Standing next to each other on the altar, they look like a sectional sofa. I'll tell you a little about myself. I'm a safety engineer for Delta Airlines. I know you all find that terribly reassuring. Safety engineer and stand-up comic. Remember that in case of a water landing, your whoopee cushion can be used as a flotation device. Whoopee cushion is, of course, the politically correct term for crashing into the ocean. But like I have to tell you that. What else could it be? The captain's going to come on and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, as a cost-saving measure, we've decided to put the plane down here and catch a wave into Miami." But as I said, I'm an engineer. In fact, when I was a kid growing up, being an engineer was my life's ambition because I was an idiot. Growing up to be an engineer is like trying to make your high school algebra class last for the rest of your life. You know, and I wasn't alone. I mean, I had lots of friends who wanted to be engineers, too. As a rule of thumb, any kid who tells you at the age of 15 he wants to grow up to be an engineer is never going to get laid. I think the reason I became an engineer was because my dad was one, which was dumb. You know, if I wanted to be more like my father, all I had to do was cut the lawn in Bermuda shorts and black socks. I shouldn't pick on my dad. He's a great guy. But hey, he's not here. My dad wears 2 hearing aids, so growing up it was a lot of fun, to like borrow his car. Dad, can I borrow your car keys? Thanks. Being raised Catholic, I know I'm going to hell for that. At least I'm going to have to spend a few thousand years in purgatory. For those of you who aren't Catholic, purgatory is a lot like living in Ackworth. Yeah, you just weren't good enough for Dunwoody. My mother hates that joke. She thinks every time I use the Pope or the church in a joke, I'm going to be held accountable for it. Like God charges royalties. Well, I bet he does have some killer attorneys. No, I can't buy that. God's got to have a sense of humor. How else can you explain the fact that women are going through their sexual peak right at the same time men are discovering they have a favorite chair? Well, I almost didn't make it out here tonight because the tape player in my car ate my self-confidence tape. I think I'm starting to take the self-help stuff too seriously. I just joined a 12-step recovery program for people addicted to 12-step recovery programs. Yeah. I'm beginning to think these programs are a sham because they just seem to feed my addictions. Like I used to be a terribly competitive person, so I joined a support group to deal with it. I won a prize for being the first one to get better. Not like self-help books, though. Self-help books are great. I just finished the Inner Child series, discovering the inner child, getting to know the inner child, putting the inner child up for adoption. I was cruising around the bookstore, looking for a new one to read. Came across one for gifted children. It's called Touched by the Angels. Made me think there should be one for those of us who went to Catholic school called Touched by the Priests. I'm Dave Pauly. Thanks. Good night.
Just in case he doesn't have a sense of humor, I'm just